This week in gaming, the industry is having another rough one. Another loss is being reported as a major studio loses its game director just months after launch. Bethesda finally tells us what's next in the Fallout series, and it's a lot. Ratchet and Clank is back, kind of, and League of Legends wants you to go back in time. This is Itty Bitty Gaming News. Let's get it. We have to start with the layoffs this week because there were a lot of them, and they hit some studios you probably care about. First, Bungie. Just 4 months after Marathon launched, game director Joe Ziegler announced on July 17th that it's his last day at the studio. He's handing the reins to assistant game director Del Schaff III, who will lead alongside creative director Julian Nardin. Ziegler says he has a new gig lined up and will share details soon. But here's the problem. Marathon was already fallen from nearly 90,000 concurrent players at launch to under 10,000 now. Losing the game director, who was the public face of the game, a month after over 300 employees were laid off does not inspire confidence. Schaaf and Nardin may be great, but they have a huge mountain to climb. Over at Ubisoft, the Barcelona studio, which built all the underwater levels in the Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, is being hit with 51 layoffs, and workers staged a 3-day strike in protest. Here's the kicker. Black Flag Resynced sold 2 million copies on its first day, the highest concurrent player count in Assassin's Creed history on Steam. The team was told they weren't getting a new project as far back as summer 2025, and the layoffs were announced on June 10th before the game even launched. So they shipped a hit and walked out the door anyway. And the studio behind Disco Elysium, I probably butchered that name, confirmed this week that up to 32 employees are receiving redundancy notices. Their follow-up game, Zero Parades for Dead Spies, launched to strong reviews in May, but weak sales, and the studio says that's why. Given that the original Disco Elysium creators were pushed out years ago and fans largely boycotted the new game, it's a sad but not entirely surprising ending. And Frostpunk and the Alters developer 11-Bit Studios quietly cut 21 employees as it moves into a new production cycle. Most were transferred internally, but 20 still lost their jobs. This is becoming a weekly story in this industry, and it needs to be said out loud. Critical success and commercial success are two very different things right now, and that gap is costing people their livelihoods. Alright. Let's talk about something that actually feels like good news, or at least big news. Todd Howard and Bethesda dropped a rare roadmap this week, and it answered a lot of questions fans have been sitting on for years. The headline, The Elder Scrolls 6 is their primary development focus right now. The majority of the studio is working on it. Howard says they're playing it every day and they love how it looks. No release date as of yet, but they want you to know it's real, it's in active development, and they're not shelving it. Skyrim has sold 65 million copies and players are still in it 15 years later. The expectations for the sequel are enormous, and Bethesda knows that. Beyond Elder Scrolls, the roadmap is absolutely stacked. Fallout 5 is confirmed to be in pre-production. Both the Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 5 will run on Creation Engine 3, a new shared tech platform Bethesda has been building since Starfield launch. There are also Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas remasters in the works, which are probably the furthest along. Obsidian Entertainment is partnering with Bethesda on a brand new Fallout project, still largely under wraps, and a Fallout Shelter TV series is in development. Plus a Fallout 76 expansion called Raven Rock, a prequel to Fallout 3, drops next year. This all came right on the heels of Xbox layoffs that hit both Bethesda and Obsidian. The message seems to be, yes, people lost jobs, but the games are still happening. How long all of this actually takes is a very different question. Big news for League of Legends fans, specifically the ones who've been saying the game peaked in Season 3. Riot officially confirmed this week that League of Legends Classic launches on July 29th with patch 26.15. No separate download, no new client. It lives right inside the current launcher. League Classic is not a one-to-one recreation of a specific old patch. Riot describes it as a curated greatest hits experience built around Season 3 mechanics, with elements from earlier and later seasons blended in. You get 60 playable champions, the original 40 plus 20 more, older ability kits for reworked champions, the classic rune and mastery system, and the original item shop. Some modern quality of life features are kept, including better matchmaking and server infrastructure. Riot is also adding a council voting system that lets players share the future direction of classic mode. A TSM vs CLG show match on July 24th kicks things off. If you were a League player back in the day, you're going to want to mark your calendars. Great news for Switch owners, Switch 1 owners. Konami confirmed this week that Castlevania Belmont's Curse is coming to Nintendo Switch on October 15, 2026, the same day as every other platform. Physical reservations in Japan just opened, with digital pricing to follow. This is a new 2D action exploration Castlevania, a Metroidvania essentially, set 23 years after Castlevania Dracula's Curse, following the successor to Trevor Belmont. It's developed by Evil Empire and Motion Twin, the studios behind Dead Cells and the Rogue Prince of Persia, which is a very good sign for the quality of the gameplay. It's also part of the series' 40th anniversary celebrations. No word yet on a native Switch 2 version, but the October 15th date is locked in for the Switch 1. If you're a Castlevania fan, this is your game of the fall. The next Ratchet and Clank game has been officially revealed, and it is not what you might expect. Ratchet and Clank Ranger Rumble is a free-to-play mobile hero shooter developed by OBB in collaboration with Insomniac Games. It launches on iOS and Android, and global pre-registrations are open now. At launch, the game features 12 playable heroes, including brand new Lombaxes, robots, and aliens built specifically for this entry, plus 6 modes: Team PvP, Co-op PvE, Battle Royale, and a football mode. Yes, a football mode. OBB worked closely with Insomniac to preserve the series' humor, weapons, and personality. Pre-registering gets you a community milestone rewards, including an exclusive cosmetic if the final target is hit. It's a mobile game, so it's not the mainline sequel fans are waiting for, but the franchise is alive and Insomniac is involved. So that's something. And let's close on a moment worth pausing for. Glen Schofield, the creator of Dead Space, co-creator of Call of Duty, and the director of the Callisto Protocol, announced this week that he is retiring from the gaming industry. Schofield has been in the games for over 30 years. He created one of the most influential survival horror franchises ever made, helped build the foundation of the modern military shooter, and most recently pushed through a difficult production on the Callisto Protocol to ship it. Whatever you thought of Callisto as a game, the man's legacy in this industry is real and lasting. He hasn't shared what's next, just that it's time. The industry loses a lot of people every week right now, most not by choice. It's worth pausing when one of the architects walks out on his own terms. Respect to Glen Schofield. That's your week in gaming. It was a heavy one. If you want a deeper dive on any of these stories, the Bungie situation especially, drop it in the comments and I'll make it happen. Drop a like if this was useful. Subscribe so you don't miss next week's wrap. I'm Smitty. Y'all take it easy.